The late 90s were awash with pulpy action strategy games with a metric ton of military sims, so 1996's Terra Nova Strike Force Centauri by Looking Glass Studios was an extremely ambitious and highly innovative release, while also a financial disaster for the company, selling only a pittance worth of its nightmarish development. Terra Nova was one of the first 3D, real-time squad-based tactical shooters, laying the groundwork for Rainbow Six, SOCOM, SWAT, and Brothers in Arms. By having fast, explosive gameplay, intricate squad commands, and engaging objectives, it still manages to stand up amongst its successes. With the re-release by Night Dive Studios a few years back, it's now quite easy to pick it up and start playing. Set in the far future, Earth and the solar system are under the total control of the hegemony, a benevolent communist-esque oligarchy. Those that sought individual freedom colonized the Centauri system, creating numerous clans and tribes. However, after numerous raids and attacks by pirates and the possible breakout of conflict with the hegemony, a special forces team of each of the clan's best warriors is founded, dubbed Strike Force Centauri. You lead the team on numerous missions across the entire system's planets and moons, carrying out a wide range of objectives from stealth, protection detail, search and destroy, and all-out assault. Initially your team is very dysfunctional and argumentative, but gradually you start to learn and open up to each other and grow in camaraderie and respect, forming into a truly unstoppable unit by late game. The FMVs are overacted and unintentionally hilarious, as randos yell and chew the scenery. Of course, this made them a pleasure to watch. When you read up on the background of the clan's history and the hegemony, you recognize the very intricate complex cultures that find themselves at conflicting odds. The intelligent world-building is only mired by the limited acting. Terra Nova's gameplay shows the same skeletal structure of later tactical shooters, so enthusiasts of the genre can adapt quickly. The menu system functions like a MechWarrior or Earthsiege, with a terminal to access additional information, statistics on you and your teammates, medals awarded, and actual mission briefings. Instead of being text-reliant with cumbersome maps, Terra Nova goes above and beyond with fully voiced FMVs where your situation, objectives, and pathways are all clearly described and highlighted. Additional environmental features, enemy opposition, and optional tactics are made firmly clear. It can seem a bit simple or handholdy, but I much prefer this than missing a crucial detail or simply not having the required equipment. Speaking of which, after the briefing you select the equipment, gear, and armaments and 3 additional teammates. Some missions will lock in specific teammates or items such as demolition charges or special armor. Your gear starts off light, but you're soon inundated with rocket launchers, grenades, pulse rifles, and heavy lasers as the stakes start mounting. You have different suit types. This is basically your armor, which affects speed, weight, and weapon slots. Each member can have a special usable item like shields, deployable turrets, and field repairs and sensors which can really support your defensive and offensive capabilities. Once everything is done, you're deployed from a dropship shown in a cutscene that will vary depending on time of day, planet, and environment. It's a nice immersive touch. Playing Terra Nova is more shooter-oriented than System Shock, yet still very simulator feeling, much like in a mech game with clunky tank controls and movements which is anything but graceful. At least in my playthrough, you control with the WSAD keys as well as ZXCQE. Yeah, it's odd. You do have a jump jet ability allowing some breathing room, but it's limited on fuel. The FOV is fairly limited, with the HUD taking greater priority in screen real estate. Your mouse cursor both fires selected weapons as well as activate and cycle through your suit's options and gear, squad-mate orders, and tactical information like maps, cameras, and waypoints. There are numerous hotkeys for different commands and abilities, but there is at least 24 unique commands, all of which is in real time. Imagine it like a car's dashboard. You have different screens displaying information like armor integrity and weapons, but you primarily focus on the main screen as you play. The right panel contains equipment info, while the left is reserved for you and your squad status, commands, and mission related stuff. Your suit status is simplified into a small ring square where once the core is breached, it's game over. Your suit does notify once you're taking damage and when you're engaging the enemy, which is yet another influence of MechWarrior. Commanding a squad is quite in-depth. It ranges from how aggressive or cautious they are in attacking, whether they rush the enemy or take a stealthy approach or use their items on your command or freely. There is a lack of a defend or guard option, which would have made some escort and protection missions more manageable. The map system displays different units, geographical details and objectives, so you're never lost or completely blind. Items like the drone or sensor mines can quickly flesh out the hostile terrain. Technically speaking, it's highly impressive and intricate, well beyond that of other games. Engaging enemies is fast-paced and risky. Where the game is very pixelated at its default resolution, you can lock onto enemies and objects, instantly displaying the type, distance, and status of your target. Then it's only a matter of strafing and firing at your enemies before they explode into a shower of debris. As the game increases in challenge, most weapons become less or more effective, so a well-rounded arsenal is essential. The most impressive and important part about the Soul is that it actually works. Mostly. Teammates lay down explosive rounds devouring whole hilltops as you rush the objective. Buildings and forests are wiped out amidst the carnage. It's great stuff and highly rewarding as you pull it all off, and your teammates are an essential factor as you can't take too much punishment yourself. However, they can completely ruin missions, like using ineffective weaponry on enemies or end up destroying key objectives. Sometimes it's much better to remove all explosive weapons from your allies as you just can't trust them. An odd complaint would be that the game is quite easy. I assume it's maybe because of the re-release changing a few things, or perhaps the faster computers of today, but aside from a few levels, you can breeze through most of the game as each stage is only 5 or 10 minutes. It turns out the enemy forces just can't prevent the power of strafing left or right. It's very easy to line your guys up and bait the enemy into a killing field. I believe this is a sign of the troubled development and their last moment decision to make the game far more action-oriented and arcadey. A more overlooked aspect of Terra Nova is its incredible presentation and touches of detail. The game has vast, wide, and open environments with rivers, canyons, mountains, and ravines that both allow and increase tactical options and add a lot more immersion into the different planets. Special props to the different terrain and weather effects from snow to rain to scorching deserts. The light colours make the usual treks surprisingly pleasant and easy. Otherwise, the engine was soon outclassed by the id Tech and Unreal engines. It's hard to properly critique a game so old and important in laying the foundations for other incredible games. Still, its poor storytelling, clunkiness, and its aesthetically unique presentation are all valid reasons for turning off newcomers. It's unfortunate there was no sequel that utilised better controls and graphical capabilities. But I feel as someone who wants to chronicle how gaming develops and evolves across its history, I can recommend Terra Nova, especially for its low asking price, entertainment, and influence to the gaming landscape.